Hey, it's Michelle, and thanks for tuning back into my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience after removing my Mirena IUD. I've had it out now for about a week, and I'm going to just go over the changes that I've experienced during this time. So I have a different video that I will link where you can watch why I took my Mirena IUD out. But as a quick summary, I will just say that I had it for 6 years and I decided last week that I wanted to take it out for numerous reasons that I talk about in that video. But the main point is that I wanted it out and I wanted to see how my life would be without it. One thing I really want to note is that I did not have issues, like main issues, when I was on it. So I wasn't getting on it for pretty much any reason other than trying to prevent pregnancy. So I wasn't on it because I had skin issues. I wasn't on it because of weight issues. I wasn't on it because of mood swings or anything like that. In general, I've always had I haven't had so many bad results or side effects with birth control. The results are great because the results are I don't have a child right now. So basically, I decided last week that I was going to take it out. And now I'm going to go over a few great things. So overall, it has been amazing. I feel like an entire different person. I'm sure you can probably even tell within this video, if you look at some of my videos from literally just a week ago, I was an entire different person. My energy, the way I talk, everything was completely different. And it's not that I have a full new personality, but there are so many things that have changed. And there were so many things that I didn't even realize would be different that have changed. So those are the things I'm going to go over today. So one thing that I really can say is that it should be noted that I did a lot of self-work probably over the last 3 to 5 years. I am a mindset coach. I've done a lot of work on myself, but one thing I really, really can say is that having have done that and then taken this out, I feel like everything just got upgraded. My entire life has gotten upgraded. My energy, my intuition, my mental clarity, physically, everything has just gotten upgraded. So you're going to hear me refer to a lot of things that have to deal with that because those things are things I didn't even know I had a block on until I got the IUD out. I didn't realize that the hormones could have had anything to do with those parts of me that I was working on. And so I feel like I've up-leveled in pretty much every part of my journey, and you'll hear me talk a bit about that today. So first up, I'm going to be talking about my mental clarity and how things have gotten better for me mentally. So a lot of girls were talking about brain fog when I was looking at what are some of the results of getting the IUD taken out. They would talk about brain fog and the fact that they now feel much more mentally clear. And I have to say that that is absolutely true. Here is one thing, and I'm going to go over this a lot because my main goal is to talk to those people who don't have issues with their IUD or any issues that they are aware of. I did not realize I had brain fog until I got clear. It's kind of one of those, you don't know you have a problem until you have a new solution and you're like, oh, dang, my whole life I've been walking around with this problem that I didn't even know. And so basically, I thought I was mentally clear. I wouldn't say that I was so lost or anything like that. You don't have to be lost to find a better way, right? And basically, I feel so much more clear. I feel very certain in who I am and very clear about my ideas. My thinking is more clear. My ideas are much more clear. And it's kind of hard to even know about this and still hard to describe it now. But I can say for sure, like my mental clarity is on a new level now. Mentally, I'm also able to focus a lot better and getting things done has become easier. I have another friend who also got hers out at around the same time this past week, and she can also say that getting tasks done has become much easier. I can be much more focused. And even if the task takes more work, for example, if it's cleaning the apartment or moving a ton of things, for some reason, there's a lot less resistance in doing those things. So I'm able to just do them easier. It doesn't mean that the task necessarily is easier, but the amount of stress related to the task have just become a lot less. It's a lot easier to get things done. I had one of my most productive days at work where I was just able to work straight through it. Not that I never was distracted at all, but the amount of things I got done so much quicker, it was amazing. And I was like, this is odd. And I didn't even notice it until the end of the day because it didn't feel any different. But when I looked at what happened, the actual tasks, the amount of things I got done was much more different. It doesn't mean that I'm always the most focused, but once I decide to go after something, it has become significantly easier. Setting boundaries has been something that I talk about a ton on my channel. I talk about it a ton with my work as a mindset coach. I talk about boundaries all the time. I have great boundaries, but I can tell you it has become so much easier to set my boundaries. It has become so much easier to really assert exactly how I want to be treated. I have no resistance in setting the boundaries. Not that I did before, but once again, just things have become way easier. So if someone's not treating me a certain way when it comes to dating, when it comes to communication, I have no internal battle with it. There is nothing in me that's like going against it. It's like, okay, that's not for me. And I'll talk about this more in a bit, but it's way easier for me to have this is the way I deserve to be treated, and I'm going to exemplify that, and nothing else is going to go against it. That mindset I had before, but now it has been up leveled and there is zero resistance towards it. So that has been quite amazing because I didn't even know I had resistance before, but now it's just clear. And I think a lot of that's coming from the certainty in myself, which I'll talk about in a bit. My feminine energy. So this has been so incredibly interesting and amazing to watch, and has been something that I would have never placed on my birth control being something that was controlling this at the time. So I want to go ahead and define what I mean by feminine energy in this context. I'm talking about feminine and masculine energies, not being a man and being a woman. And in this context, I mean that the masculine energy is the more doing, 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 go, 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 get things done. It's much more logical and analytical. The masculine energy is much more of getting things done and doing, versus the feminine energy is much more in a state of receiving, being, and not needing to do things all the time, but more of a receiving state, more of in a playful state, much more in a feminine energy of just being more intuitive, being more creative. And I can say I was working on all of these things prior to even getting the IUD taken out. It was actually one of the inspirations to get it taken out because I was watching a video on how to be more feminine because I felt like my feminine energy was just not where I needed it to be. I didn't feel like a man. I didn't feel like I was being masculine, but I could not feel natural in all of these things that I remember that I used to be so natural in this. What is this? And I thought it might have been context. I thought it might have been the locals. I thought it might have been the culture I'm in right now. But now that I've gotten it taken out, it is ridiculous how different it is now and how natural it feels for me to be my feminine energy, how natural it feels to be in this receiving state, in this just being state. Things are working out for me state. I follow my intuition so much more. I can feel my intuition so much more. I don't feel the need to be assertive, maybe isn't the word, but I don't feel the inner need to go do, do, do. Of course, I'm doing things, I'm getting things done in my life, I still have responsibilities, but it has really shifted me into a much more receiving state, much more in tune with my body, much more being present. And because of all of this, I can fully see how I would have never connected that the IUD and this me being feminine were related. And it is something that I'm certain, like it sounds so terrible, but now when I'm thinking about man in certain times when I was like in corporate or when I was doing other parts of my life, it actually might have been better for me to be in birth control in those situations because of the way the birth control would put me into that state of doing. I have no idea how it's going to be now if I compete in sports or anything, because right now I'm in such a laid, I don't even want to say it's a laid back state, but maybe it is. I don't know. But it's definitely a much more relaxed and being state. It's much more of that queen vibe where people are talking about act like a queen, na na na. Well, I feel fully in my queen essence. Now it feels much more like relaxed. Just let it come to me. The things come to me. My confidence, my inner intuition, my inner peace have all expanded so much and so abundantly that I can't even imagine certain things before. The sense of inner peace and calmness I have now is at a new level. I didn't have stress before. I didn't have a ton of anxiety before. Didn't really, I've done so much self work that in general I was in a pretty peaceful state. But now it's at a new level. It doesn't even make sense how peaceful I feel all the time. I feel a new level of confidence. I mean, if you knew me before, you knew I was pretty confident. That confidence was very real. But the confidence I have now that everything works out for me is just, I went from a state of believing things work for me, a state of believing I deserve good things, believing things can happen, believing all good things. This was legit. I was believing. But now I'm in a new state of knowing things work out for me, of knowing what I deserve, and being so confident in my knowing. I thought I was confident in my belief, but my knowing is so much bigger that when you are that in that state, it's hard to believe things don't work for you. You become so clear on your boundaries. This goes back to the boundaries part because you know what you deserve. You know how you deserve to be treated. You know all of these things, and it makes you walk different. It makes you sit different. It makes you believe different. It makes you talk different. Everything changes. So that has been really incredible and really interesting, and really one of the biggest things that, I mean, all of this is pretty big for those of you who still have their IUD and are considering maybe taking it out. I would say at least try it just for a bit, because I didn't have issues before, right? I didn't have anything crazy happening, but I would have never been able to feel how I feel right now if I had kept it. And now, like, I have no regrets at all about taking it out. Within that same inner peace and calmness, I can definitely say that things don't bother me as much when people in the area do things that would have normally annoyed me, and I would have felt it internally. And I had done so much self work to stop letting these outside influences bother me internally. But now it really cannot bother me internally. Like I can before I could at least physically feel it, but now there is nothing, that nothing is happening. When I'm bothered, I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate that they live like that, or that's unfortunate that they feel that way. And I just continue on with my life. It is amazing. It's amazing to just see how, what peace really feels like, and how I can also bring that peace to other people by just being. Anyone who is meditating and gotten to that stage where you're walking around and you're like, man, nothing bothers you. You feel like you're on a cloud. I had a friend who recently started his own self work journey, and he was talking about how he was scared with all the happiness, but like you get this way, and a lot of it's also coming from meditating and working on yourself, of course. And you get nervous that it's going to go away or something, but like I have no nervousness that it's going to go away, because it is within my being. I deserve this peace, I deserve this happiness, and that is something that is so incredible, to just exist in that mental peace and clarity all the time, that calmness all the time. Now, of course, I'm going to have issues. Of course, things don't work out sometime. But like the combination of my self work and my journey up to this point, plus now being able to almost be back in my real body as my real self that I didn't even know about, amazing, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, wow. I have no idea what's to come, but right now things are absolutely amazing. I'm able to really fully believe that if something is for me, then it is for me. And if it's not for me, it's not for me. And I don't have to force anything. And this is such a lovely place to be in my life. I absolutely believe this is a new chapter of my life that I didn't even know. Like I knew recently before I got the IUD taken out, I did have a feeling of like something is about to change. I don't know what's about to change. I wasn't feeling bad or anything, but I had my intuition tell me that some change was coming and I didn't know what it was. And I truly think that this was it. Energetically, I feel like I finally just received everything and that all the tools and everything is available for me. And I was feeling really great before, but I can tell you I am on another level. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like on another planet now of who I am and what is to come for me. I feel more connected to my intuition and my sense of being. And because of that, I can even see how previously I was making so many decisions based on logic and analytics and being very analytical. And not that that's bad, you have to have a balance, right, of the feminine and masculine energy. There are going to be times where I do need to be more analytical and more logical, but being able to be more in tune with my intuition and my inner being has just been a phenomenal change. So physically, it's not been, there haven't been that many major changes. Actually, yes, there have been major physical changes, but not what I was expecting. So I was expecting that I would lose a little bit of weight. When I got on the Mirena IUD, I did gain a bit of weight. In general, most of my life, I've been playing sports. And because of that, I've never had any real issues with gaining too much weight. So I gained a little bit of weight, but not to where anybody would notice. And when I got off of it, I was expecting that I would lose a bit of weight. The thing is that my intermittent fasting, I had also started that at the same time. And because of that, I think that I was already losing a little bit of weight. And then getting off the IUD accelerated that by a lot. So when I got off of it, I mean, the amount of body fat I've lost visually, like I was working out the other day and I was like, oh my God, I'm never doing a push up again. Because the thing with my body type is that even if I'm not doing, like, I don't do that much arm work, but when I lose a lot of body fat, it looks like my arms are jacked. So my arms look way more muscular than I would care for at the moment, but it's okay because I know I'll eventually gain the weight back. I have had a bit more cravings for sweets lately. That's been quite interesting because I got off of sweets actually a few weeks ago and trained myself to not need to eat sweets all the time. Actually, scratch that. I did have a few cravings where I just wanted to eat a lot, but it wasn't necessarily anything in particular. And then I've had cravings for sweets a little bit more, but not that I needed a lot of sweets, just if it was in front of me, I was going to eat the sweets. I do feel a lot more sensual in my body. I do feel a lot more in tune with my body, and I feel more present in my body. I really don't know how to explain this fully, other than like I feel very in tune with my body. If you know how to be in the present moment, imagine now being present in your body. Not that I wasn't before, but I definitely can feel like more senses, literally more sensual, everything of the word. I can feel all of that within my body. I have a few very surprising things. So, one surprising thing, the most surprising thing, is actually that my voice changed. And this is actually effort to talk this loud and to talk this fast right now, which is crazy because just a week ago I had an entire different voice, an entire different projection. And when I'm around my friends, yes, sometimes I do project louder, but most of that I think is due to habit. But the like habit of trying to get to where I sound like how I used to sound, because my ears are still adjusting to the way my voice is now. So if you want to see the difference, this is how I used to talk. I used to talk a lot more like this. And that took so much energy out of me to talk like that. And it's with more energy, but the voice is like a little bit deeper. Like I can't actually fully imitate my old voice, but that was as close as I could get. Hey everyone, so the last few minutes of my other video got cut because when I was trying to upload them, they just deleted, and yeah, frustrating, but it happens. So I just wanted to let you know that I will also have a video coming up where I am talking about my attraction, both how people were attracted to me and how I was attracted to others, how that changed over time within the first 2 weeks. And then also videos, updates of 1 month and 2 months and 3 months, so that you can see how my journey has changed because so much has happened and I really am passionate about others finding out more about these stories. So please be sure to check those out and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.